Imagine this. You're sitting down watching an epic film. The villain appears, dark and powerful, and someone whispers, "He's like Lucifer." In another scene, someone invokes the name of Satan. It feels automatic. Lucifer and Satan, two sides of the same coin, right? But what if I told you that's not quite true? Today, most people grow up believing that Lucifer and Satan are the same being. This idea is everywhere, in films, books, music, and even casual conversations. But is that really what the sacred texts say? Or is it a confusion that has developed over centuries? Right now, you might be asking yourself, if they're not the same figure, who are they really? And why do so many believe they are? That's exactly what we're going to uncover on this fascinating journey. Now that the question has been posed, it's time to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about these two iconic names, Lucifer and Satan. Picture yourself as an explorer standing before a vast map filled with uncharted territories. On one side lies the intriguing glow of Lucifer, the light bearer. On the other, the intimidating darkness of Satan, the accuser. But what happens when you start to traverse this map? There are secrets here, stories buried beneath layers of translations, interpretations, and cultural myths. Each piece of this puzzle is about to be uncovered. Yet, as with any great journey, truth comes with challenges, the greatest of which is letting go of what feels familiar. Get ready to cross historical thresholds, confront ancient texts, and face the forbidden truth that few dare to explore. Are you ready to discover who Lucifer and Satan truly are? No hero embarks on a journey alone, and you will be no exception. To unravel this mystery, we need the help of reliable guides, ancient texts, original words, and stories that date back to the dawn of time. Let's return to the source, to Hebrew, Latin, and the sacred scriptures that shaped how we understand good and evil. First, we encounter Lucifer in Isaiah 14:12. The word, derived from Latin, literally means light bearer. But wait, isn't Lucifer Satan? Not exactly. Nowhere in this text does Isaiah link Lucifer to the devil as we know him. Here, he speaks of a fallen king, an arrogant ruler who dared to compare himself to God. On the other hand, the name Satan appears in entirely different contexts. In Job, for instance, he is an accuser before God, a direct adversary, but not the fallen angel we often hear about. We're beginning to untangle the threads of this complicated narrative. But how did these figures become intertwined? This is where the true adventure begins. To understand how Lucifer and Satan evolved from distinct characters into a single entity in the collective imagination, we must step out of our comfort zone. Our journey will take us through historical and theological corridors filled with symbolism, where concepts blended like colors on a palette. It all started with the interpretation of Scripture. When the Bible was translated into Latin in the Vulgate, Lucifer was used to describe the morning star, a metaphor for pride and downfall. Over time, this image became linked to the Christian narrative of Satan, the ultimate adversary of God. Medieval writers and artists added their dramatic flair, and before long, Lucifer and Satan became nearly inseparable. As we cross this threshold, we realize we are not just dealing with texts, but with ideas shaped by culture, fear, and the desire for spiritual control. The journey progresses, but not without challenges. To uncover the truth about Lucifer and Satan, we face trials that test our understanding. One of the most difficult? Separating popular interpretations from historical truths. Let's confront our first obstacle, cultural traditions. During the Middle Ages, authors like Dante Alighieri, with the Divine Comedy, and John Milton, with Paradise Lost, shaped the image of Lucifer as the fallen angel, a charismatic, tragic, and proud figure. Milton, in particular, delivered a compelling narrative of rebellion and downfall, humanizing Lucifer while directly connecting him to the role of Satan, God's enemy. But this story is absent from the original texts. In the Bible, Satan lacks the dramatic tale of an angel cast out of heaven. He appears in various roles, as the adversary in Job, the tempter in the Gospels, and the serpent in Eden, which wasn't explicitly linked to him until centuries later. The second challenge? Religious influence. As Christianity grew, the church needed a clear and powerful villain to justify its worldview. This necessity helped cement Lucifer and Satan as a single archetype, personifying all evil. The truth begins to surface, but there are still more mysteries to unravel. Now we draw closer to the heart of the story, where the greatest mysteries begin to unfold. This is the moment to confront the deeper questions. How did Lucifer, the bearer of light, become transformed into the ultimate representation of darkness? And why did Satan, the adversary, evolve into the personification of universal evil? To understand, we must delve into layers of history and context. In early Judaism, Satan was not a rebel but a servant of God, a figure who tested humanity on the Creator's behalf. He was a permitted force, a far cry from the declared enemy described in the New Testament. On the other hand, the word Lucifer appears only once in the Bible, in Isaiah 14:12, referring to a Babylonian king metaphorically compared to the morning star, who fell due to arrogance. Yet, as Christianity encountered the Greek myth of Prometheus, the titan who brought fire to humanity and was punished, the lines began to blur. Lucifer took on a similar role, a bringer of light, defying a higher authority. This cultural fusion was no accident but a reflection of humanity's need for narratives to explain its fears and aspirations. The threads of history intertwine, leading us deeper into the mystery. We have now reached the climax of the journey, where conflicts intensify, and the truth challenges the comfort of common beliefs. What happens when we discover that much of what we know about Lucifer and Satan has been shaped more by human imagination than by sacred texts? This is the crisis, confronting the fragility of interpretations we've long accepted as absolute. In popular imagination, Lucifer and Satan are often seen as one and the same. But upon closer examination, we realize that this union is the result of a tangled web of cultural myths, evolving theologies, and even social control strategies. For centuries, the Church consolidated this fusion to create a unified narrative about evil, an absolute antagonist to reinforce its spiritual authority. Yet, the crisis is not merely historical, it is spiritual. For many, questioning this narrative means stepping into dangerous territory, where doubts may shake the foundations of faith. After all, if Lucifer and Satan are not who we think they are, what else might we have misunderstood? Here lies the central challenge that must be faced. The search for truth demands the courage to abandon the comfort of the familiar and confront the weight of the unknown. As we emerge from the crisis, unexpected rewards begin to surface, the hidden treasures buried beneath layers of myths and distortions. The true treasure here is not merely clarification, but a deeper understanding of how spiritual narratives have been shaped over the centuries. Through this, we gain the ability to see beyond the surface of the figures of Lucifer and Satan. The most significant revelation from our journey is recognizing the roles these characters play not only in Christian theology, but also in the broader tapestry of human history. Lucifer, originally a symbol of pride and downfall, reflects the complexities of freedom, rebellion, and the quest for self-sufficiency. Satan, on the other hand, has always represented a force that challenges humanity, testing morality and divine justice, without ever being the personification of absolute evil. The true treasure lies in shedding the burden of a simplistic, dualistic worldview. We come to understand that these figures are neither mere villains nor heroes, but part of a universal narrative that questions what it means to be human, the struggle between good and evil, and the relationship between humanity and the divine. This is the power of truth. It illuminates the path toward a more nuanced and mature understanding of spirituality. As we uncover the treasure, transformation begins. The truth revealed about Lucifer and Satan not only reshapes our understanding of these biblical figures, but also challenges us to reconsider how we perceive good, evil, and spirituality. The outcome of this journey is profound, extending far beyond a mere theological resolution. First, we realize that the stories we have created around these figures have shaped our understanding of the world and morality. If Lucifer and Satan are not merely the evil entities we have long imagined, this opens the door to a new perspective on human suffering, temptation, and the very nature of evil. It is no longer a straightforward battle where good always triumphs, but a nuanced struggle in which human choices play a central role. This result is not solely intellectual, but deeply spiritual. By letting go of misconceptions, we free ourselves to explore a more authentic relationship with spirituality, unbound by simplistic or absolutist views. Evil is no longer just an external entity, but a reality that can manifest through our own flaws and decisions. The true transformation lies in our ability to see the spiritual realm as it truly is, complex, multifaceted, and deeply intertwined with our personal journey. Now, with the knowledge gained and the truth revealed, it is time to return to the world we live in. But this is not a simple return. We are no longer the same. The transformation does not happen only in the mind, but in the way we see ourselves and others. What seemed clear before now presents itself in a more complex way. Good and evil, Lucifer and Satan, are no longer distant figures or separate entities, but aspects of a much greater mystery that needs to be understood. In returning, we do not bring easy answers. Far from it. But true wisdom lies in the questions. The revelation of the differences and connections between Lucifer and Satan invites us to reflect deeply on the role these forces play in our lives and in our world. We no longer see these figures as symbols of a struggle between a good God and an evil devil, but as reflections of our own spiritual journey, where we face the power of choice, temptation, and redemption. Now, as we look at the world around us, we see the forces of good and evil in a deeper way, knowing they are not just external, but dwell within each of us. This return, therefore, marks the beginning of a new perspective, where truth provides us with the tools to live with greater wisdom and self-understanding. With the return, a new life is born, a life where spiritual vision has expanded, and the perspective on good and evil has become richer, more aware, and deeply connected to the human experience. By better understanding the figures of Lucifer and Satan, we have been freed from the chains of limiting narratives and have begun to see the world through a broader and more complex lens. This new life is not just about intellectual understanding, but also about an inner transformation. We no longer view evil as an external force to be feared, but as an intrinsic part of the human condition that challenges us to grow, choose good, and learn from our falls. We realize that the struggle is not merely against an external enemy, but a constant battle within ourselves. It is the fight between the light and the inner shadows, and who we are at our core reflects how we deal with these forces. Now, as we live this new life, we seek a more authentic spirituality, more aware of our flaws and virtues. The understanding of Lucifer and Satan does not condemn us, but frees us to live with greater wisdom and humility, knowing that the path to the light is a continuous process of learning and growth. We have reached the end of this journey. The resolution is not just a closing, but a deep understanding that the truth gained is not something to be accumulated like a distant treasure. It becomes part of our own narrative, shaping the way we see the world, others, and ourselves. Lucifer and Satan, once symbols of a cosmic and unquestionable conflict, now present themselves as archetypal figures, representations of forces that challenge us to grow, understand, and transcend. The resolution lies in recognizing that, by uncovering the mysteries of these figures, we are not merely dealing with spiritual entities, but with aspects of our own humanity. The true challenge is not in fighting external forces, but in facing the shadows within us, understanding our own limits, and growing from them. This process of acceptance and understanding is the true resolution. We do not need to fear the complexities of spirituality or despair over unanswered questions. Instead, we accept that the journey is ongoing and that the search for truth is a path that never ends. Now, more enlightened and mature, we can walk towards the light with greater confidence, knowing that good and evil are not external forces controlling us, but aspects of the human experience that we must learn to integrate into our lives. This is the final resolution, a deeper, more authentic, and more balanced understanding of spirituality and the self. We have reached the end of this profound journey. Now that you know a little more about Lucifer and Satan, what did you think? What stood out to you the most? And has this new perspective changed the way you understand good and evil? If this video helped clarify your doubts or opened new avenues for reflection, see you next time.